The days of our years are 80 years and 10, and if by reason of strength they be 80 years, yet is their strength labor and sorrow, for it is soon cut off, and we fly away. Who knows the power of your anger? Even according to your fear, so is your wrath. So teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. How's everyone doing, Mishpaka? I'm going to be talking a little bit about creation. I'm going to be talking about this serpent character. Adam and Yahuah. And something called superfetation. I think I'm saying it right. It's basically where the woman is pregnant and then she becomes pregnant with a separate embryo in the womb. It could be from the same father or from multiple fathers. Apparently there's some people out here theorizing that Cain and Abel are these types of twins, superfetation twins, if I'm saying it right. I'm not sure. But they're actually saying that that Cain's father is Hashatan and Abel's father is Adam. And that's not true. So I'm going to show some scriptures, and we're going to go actually through some scriptures in the book of Jubilees, which was conveniently enough for the devil removed from the Bibles, along with the book of Hanuk or Enoch. So, last week I just recorded with the camera because we've had so much problems with TikTok, and trying to rely on this platform to do the recordings has not been fruitful. So right now I'm live on TikTok, but I'm not yet recording. I'm just waiting to get some folks in, get some conversation happening. There's no commenting in the chats. If you're able to hear me, will you throw up a 1 in the chat, please? And also, if you're a regular follower in here, will you please just communicate in the chat so I can see who all's in here and what all's going on? I think I see Damon up there. Is that you, Damon? Let's see. It's kind of far to reach. Oh, it is Damon. Hey, Shabbat Shalom, Damon. How are you doing? Anki is the serpent, Satan, very evil. Joshua Bacon says. Are you related to Sir Francis? Sorry. I guess that's only funny to me. Sir Francis Bacon. Oh, you are? That's really hilarious. Yeah, the Enki's not in the scriptures. Although there are going to be some Gnostic writings, I'm sure, that have that information in there. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. How is the connection, Damon? Does everything seem okay with the connection?
When do you want to start this one?
In just a moment. I think I'm related to the human race. I think I'm related to Adam and Yahuah. Yep, all is well. Okay. I guess now so you can be able to go. Yeah, sometimes the conversation in the TikTok is more of a negative distraction than anything else. But I'm going to try to be, thank you for the likes. Please like and share to get more people possibly in here. I'm going to try to interact with this chat as much as I can, but I'm going to be having my face in the scriptures a lot reading. You can't even see that I have scriptures in front of me. Yeah, you want to go ahead and start that, honey?
Mm-hmm. Ready?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Shabbat Shalom Mishpaka. I'm Watchman Yirmiyahu at the Qadashayam of Yasharal, and this week we're going to be doing questions about Genesis. I had a YouTube subscriber ask me the question about Cain and Abel, because apparently there's people saying that Adam is the father of Abel and that Hashatan is the father of Cain. This is easily refuted in the book of Jubilees, which we're going to be going over, Abba willing, chapters 1 through 5 in the book of Jubilees to talk about this. There is a type of pregnancy for twins that's called superfetation or superfetaceous twins. So it can be the same father with two separate embryos or two separate eggs rather than one splitting into twins, or it can even be two separate fathers having fertilized eggs in the womb at the same time. Okay, that's the theory, that's the belief, and that's the deception. The scriptures are our final arbiter of truth, our once and for all standard for all truth. And I thank you for joining for this video. And Palal, that all is well with you and your family. And as always, please comment, like, subscribe, share. But also my email is in the description or in the link tree. So you can always email me if you have any questions or any concerns. I am live on TikTok right now over here. So I'm going to try to keep an eye over here if there are any questions. Please, if I miss your question, resubmit it. I mean, I'll do my best to try to get to them all, but it's going to be difficult without a moderator right now. Okay, so all right, let's go ahead and jump right in. So this is going to be, like I said, the book of Jubilees. And it came to pass in the first year of the Exodus of the children of Yashar'Al out of Mitzrayim, which is Egypt, in the 3rd month, on the 16th day of the month, that Elohim spoke unto Moshe, saying, Come up to me on the mount, and I will give you 2 sapphire stones of the Thurah and of the commandment, which I have written, that you may teach them. I think it's also important for me to bring this out right now because people were asking, like, well, how do you know that Abrit is the original language? And I said, well, because the scriptures say that they're written on sapphire stones. The commandments are written on sapphire stones that Yahuwah wrote with his own finger. Sapphire being the same color as the firmament itself. That's why the sky is blue, because it's enclosed under a blue sapphire stone dome. At least that's my understanding. And I think that's a very important thing to note, that Jubilees runs parallel with Genesis, but it also adds some insights that are not just only in Genesis. So come up to the mount, and I will give you 2 sapphire stones of the Torah of the commandment, which I have written, that you may teach them. And Moshe went up into the mount of Elohim, and the esteem of Yahuwah abode on Mount Sinai, and a cloud overshadowed it 6 days. Baruk Yahuah. And he called out to Moshe on the 7th day out of the midst of the cloud, and the appearance of the esteem of Yahuwah was like a flaming fire on top of the mount. This is probably going to also make you guys think of things like what they call Shekinah glory, what you see in the wilderness when Yashar'Al was being led in the wilderness by a pillar of smoke and a pillar of fire. Okay, and Moshe was on the mount 40 days and 40 nights, and Elohim taught him the earlier and latter history of the division of all the days of the Torah and of the testimony. And he said, incline your heart to every word which I shall speak to you on this mount, and write them in a sephar in order, that their generations may see how I have not forsaken them, for all the evil which they have wrought in transgressing the agreement which I have established between me and you for the generations this day on Mount Sinai. Baruk Yahuah. Baruk Yahuah. And thus it will come to pass, when all these things come upon them, that they will recognize that I am more righteous than they in all their judgments and in all their actions, and they will recognize that I have been truly with them. And do you write for yourself all these words which I declare unto you this day, for I know their rebellion and their stiff neck, before I bring them into the land of which I swore to their fathers, to Abraham, to Yitzchak, and to Yaakov, saying, unto your seed will I give a land flowing with milk and honey, and they will eat and be satisfied. And they will turn to strange Elohim, to Elohim which cannot deliver them from aught of their tribulation. And this witness shall be heard for a witness against them. Baruk Yahuah. Just still trying to check in here and see if there's any questions. All right. For they will forget all my commandments, even all that I commanded them, and they will walk after the other nations, and after their uncleanness, and after their shame, and will serve their Elohim, which are demons, devils, Nephilim, right? Disembodied spirits, wandering spirits, and these will prove unto them an offense and a tribulation, an affliction, and a snare, which indeed they have. And many will perish, and they will be taken captive, and will fall into the hands of the enemy, because they have forsaken my ordinances and my commandments, and the feasts of my agreement, contract, marriage oath, and my Shabbats, right? Which is not just the seventh day, it's also the fixed feast days and the new moon days, of which there are 4, for the 4 seasons of the year. Okay? And my Qadash place, which I have sanctified for myself in their midst, and my tabernacle and my sanctuary, which I have sanctified for myself in the midst of the land, that I should place my name upon it, and that it should dwell there. Right? Yerushalayim, where Yahuwah has placed his name forever. And they will make to themselves high places and Asherah poles and graven images, and they will worship each his own graven image, so as to go astray. And they will sacrifice their children to devils and to all the works of the error of their hearts. And I will send witnesses unto them, that I may witness against them, but they will not hear, and will slay the witnesses also. These are the prophets. And they will persecute those who seek the Torah, and they will abrogate and change everything, so as to work evil before my eyes. And I will hide my face from them, and I will deliver them into the hand of the other nations for captivity, and for a prey, and for devouring. And I will remove them from the midst of the land, and I will scatter them amongst the other nations. Baruk Yahuah. Baruk Yahuah. And they will forget my Torah, and all my commandments, my judgments, and will go astray as to the new moons. That's what I was mentioning, the 4 new moons. Okay, months 1, 4, 7, and 10. These tell us when it's going to be, spring, summer, autumn, winter, etc. Okay, along with the new moons, he also says, we'll forget my Shabbats, and my feasts, and my jubilees, and my ordinances. And after this, they will turn to me from amongst the other nations with all their heart, with all their soul and with all their strength. And I will gather them from amongst all the other nations, and they will seek me, so that I shall be found of them, when they seek me with all their heart and with all their soul. And I will disclose to them abounding shalom with righteousness, and I will remove them the plant of uprightness with all my heart and with all my soul, and they shall be for a baruch and not for a curse. And they shall be the head and not the tail. And I will build my sanctuary in their midst, and I will tabernacle with them, and I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people in truth and in righteousness, and I will not forsake them nor fail them, for I am Yahuwah Elohaikum. Barak Yahuah, there is a promise, the Baruk at hope that we're all waiting for, right? New heavens, new earth, new Jerusalem descending down from the Shemayim to Ha'aratz, right? And that we dwell with him forever, tabernacle with him forever. And Masha fell on his face and palal and said, O Yahuwah Elohai, do not forsake your people and your inheritance, so that they should wander in the error of their hearts. And do not deliver them into the hands of their enemies, the other nations, lest they should rule over them and cause them to transgress against you. Let your mercy, O Yahuwah, be lifted up upon your people, and create in them an upright ruach, and let not the ruach of Balal rule over them, to accuse them before you, and to ensnare them from all the cycles of righteousness, so that they may perish from before your face. But they are your people and your inheritance, which you have delivered with your great power from the hands of Mitzrayim. Create in them a clean heart and a Ruach Ha'Qadash, and let them not be ensnared in their transgressions from henceforth until eternity. Barak Yahuah, what a beautiful palal that Masha made before Yahuwah for Yashar'Al, right? For the Qadashayam of Yasharal, the righteous peoples of Yashar'Al. Barak Yahuah. Okay? And Yahuwah said unto Masha, I know their contrariness and their thoughts and their stiff necks. They will not obey until they confess their own transgressions and the transgressions of their fathers. And after this they will turn to me in all uprightness and with all their heart and with all their soul, and I will circumcise the foreskin of their heart and the foreskin of the heart of their seed. So Abba Yahuwah is telling Masha, look, I already know these people are not going to submit to me. They're not going to obey me. Their children are not going to obey me until they have gone through this painful process, this refining, being forged in the flames of the affliction of their chata. That's a sin. I don't say that name because that's the name of a foreign mighty one. You can go look it up. It's actually a moon god. So gross. That word is in the KJVs all over the place. I don't even know how many times the word sin appears in the Babels, but it's literally the name of a foreign mighty one that we're not supposed to say. So Yahuwah is explaining to Masha, all this has to happen first so that they can be refined, so that they will submit to me fully, right? And I will create in them a Ruach Ha'Qadash, which is the righteous spirit of Yahuwah. I will put my own breath, my own righteous spirit within them, okay? And I will cleanse them so that they shall not turn away from me from that day and forevermore. To eternity, right? The Father's always had a plan to refine a people for himself, to put away all transgression and all rebellion once and for all, right? And their souls will cleave to me and to all my commandments, and they will fulfill these commandments, and I will be their father, and they shall be my children, and they shall be called children of the living Elohim, and every angel and every Ruach shall know, yea, they shall know that these are my children, and that I am their father in uprightness and in righteousness, and that I love them. Barak Yahuah. Barak Yahuah. And do you write down for yourself all these words which I declare unto you on this mountain, the first and the last, which shall come to pass in all the divisions of the days, in the Torah, and in the testimony, in the weeks, and in the jubilees, unto eternity, until I descend and tabernacle with them throughout eternity. And he said to the angel of the presence, write for Masha from the beginning of creation till my sanctuary has been built among them for all eternity. And Yahuwah will appear to the eyes of all, and all shall know that I am the Elohim of Yasharal, and the father of all the children of Yaakov, king of Mount Sion for all eternity, and Sion and Jerusalem shall be Qadash. Yahuwah has declared himself to be the king of Mount Sion, which is also something that is declared for Yahusha, which is HaMashiach, the Messiah, the right hand of the Father, right? Like Emmanuel is Elohim with us, right? And the angel of the presence who went before the camp of Yashar'Al took the tabernacle of the divisions of the years from the time of the creation of the Torah, and of the testimony of the weeks, of the jubilees, according to the individual years, according to all the numbers of the jubilees, according to the individual years, from the day of the new creation, when the heavens and the earth shall be renewed, and all the creation according to the powers of the heaven, and according to all the creation of the earth, until the sanctuary of Yahuwah shall be made in Jerusalem on Mount Zion, and all the luminaries be renewed for healing, and for Shalom, and for Baruk Atah, and for the elect of Yashar'Al, that thus it may be from that day unto all the days of the earth. So just so you guys know, in the book of Jubilees, when it references a Jubilee, it's referring to 50 years. A week is 7 years. Okay? The months are actual months, of which there are 12 in a year. So this whole book does like a timeline. And it's really valuable. You should definitely check it out. Chapter 6 and chapter 8, I've learned so much of my understanding by the Ruach of Yahuah from this book. So there's actually 50 chapters in it too, which, of course, right? Jubilee, 50. Chapter 2. And the angel of the presence spoke to Masha according to the word of Yahuwah, saying, write the complete history of the creation, how in 6 days Yahuwah finished all the works and all that he created, and kept the Shabbat on the 7th day, and sanctified it for all ages, and appointed it for a sign for all of his works. Been saying this, can't say it enough. The pattern of 7 for the Shabbat is never broken. Everybody who teaches that the Shabbat changes with the moon moves around, they're deceived. And they're deceiving. Maybe they know they're deceiving, I don't know, but it's definitely false. The pattern of 7 is established. There's 364 days in every year. That's 52 weeks. That's 52 Shabbats. And then the whole new year starts over. Always like this. Okay? So in the beginning of a year, you're going to have 6 days of work and a 7th day of rest, just like you did in the first year. That pattern is never broken. It just continues. For on the first day he created the heavens, which are above the earth, and the waters, and all the Ruach Ha'Qadash, which is spirits. On the first day he created the heavens above the earth, and the waters, and all the spirits, Ruach Ha'Qadash, which serve before him, the angels of the presence, and the angels of the sanctification, and the angels of the Ruach of fire, and the angels of the Ruach of the winds, the angels of the Ruach of the clouds, and of the darkness, and of the snow, and of hail, and hoar frost, the angels of the voices, and of the thunder, and of the lightning, and the angels of the Ruach Ha'Qadash of cold, and of heat, of winter, and of spring, and autumn, and summer, and all the Ruach Ha'Qadash of his creatures, which are in the heavens and on the earth. He created the abyss and the darkness, evening and night, and the light dawn and day, which he has prepared in the knowledge of his heart. And thereupon he saw his works and praised him and lauded before him on account of all of his works. For 7 great works did he create on the first day. Baruk Yahuah. Baruk Yahuah. So how much more understanding are we getting here than what we just get from Genesis alone on the first day? You know, Baruk Yahuah. And that's wonderful. So there's things here that maybe you didn't know before. Maybe you didn't know that he created the abyss and the evening on the first day. There's still no sun, and there's still no moon, there's still no stars, but he's created all the angels that are going to work cold and heat and lightning and thunder and winds and hail and all these things, right? Baruk Yahuah. 364 and 1 rest day. No, 364 and 52 rest days. The rest days happen on every 7th day of each week, which there are 52 weeks in a year. There is no day above the 364, Aki. It's not there. Please go to my YouTube channel and check out the calendars playlist, and you will see. You're going to see a lot there. This whole thing is not going to be on the calendar, but I'll touch on it a little when it comes up. And thank you for your comments. I do appreciate those. Okay? So let's go on to chapter 2, verse 4, which is the second day he created the expanse in the midst of the waters. And the waters were divided on that day. Half of them went above, and half of them went down below the expanse. The expanse is a firmament. Ha-rakia. It's a hard, dividing dome. Okay, this whole earth is under a dome. And it's saying there were waters above and waters below. This dividing line. This was the dividing line. And is the dividing line. Okay? Half of them went above and half of them went below the expanse that was in the midst over the face of the whole earth. And this was the only work Elohim did on the second day. On the second day. And you know, I'm reminded when it says the heavens declare his handiwork, this thing right here destroys everything that Scientologists try to teach, everything that has to do with evolution, this ever-expanding universe, gravity, all this stuff. Completely destroyed by the truth of the firmament, the rakia. Do I think that the deep sea and the deep waters are part of Gehenna? Gehenna is, I think, a reference to the lake of fire, and that's also talked about in the book of Chanukh, as well as the, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, where there's weeping and gnashing of teeth, where the fire is never quenched and the worm never dieth, right? So no, I don't think that the waters, I don't think that Sheol is flooded, and I don't think that the lake of fire is flooded. These things are described as being separate, a holding area, for example. So thank you. Another great question. All right, so now verse 5. And on the third day he commanded the waters to pass from the face of the whole earth into one place, and the dry land to appear. So that kind of went on to answer a little bit what you were asking about right there. He's commanded these waters to go where they're commanded to go, and he set the boundaries for them. Okay? So he commanded the waters to go into one place, right? To pass off the face of the whole earth, and the dry land to then appear. And the waters did so as he commanded them, and they retired from off of the face of the earth into the one place outside of this expanse, and the dry land did appear. And on that day he created for them all the seas according to their separate gathering places, and all the rivers, and the gathering of the waters into the mountains, and on the earth, and all the lakes, and all the dew of the earth, and the seed which is sown, and the sprouting things, and the fruit-bearing trees, and the trees of the wood, and the garden of Eden. In Eden and all. These 4 great works Elohim created on the 3rd day. I know I missed a comment about Noah. Noah's Ark sits in Nepal, Fishtail Mountain, Asia, not Ararat, Turkey. Verse 9, and on the 4th day he created the sun and the moon and the stars, placing them in the expanse of the heaven to give light upon all the earth and to rule over the day and the night and divide the light from the darkness. So the sun rules over the day. The day is 12 hours. The day is from sun up to sun down. Then it goes to night. The night is 4 watches. There is no such thing as 24 hours in a day. Okay? There are 12 hours in a day. Yahusha himself says, are there not 12 hours in a day? Okay? We need to know these things so that we can know, for example, we're supposed to guard the Shabbat day. The Shabbat day is 12 hours. From sun up to sun down. After that, it goes evening, you go into watches. That's why on the evening of the 14th day, which is a Shabbat day, once you go into the evening, the Shabbat part is over and it becomes Pesach. And you build a fire and you roast a lamb in haste, right? And you eat it with your staff in your hand and with your loins girt around your waist. Remember these things? Okay? Baruk Yahuah, trust me. Those who claim to be authorities, those who claim to have understanding, those who claim to be the experts have been leading us astray for a very long time. Baruk Yahuah. Truth is coming out, it's being revealed, and we're going to fall away from all these false ways. All right, so we got the sun, the moon, the stars, okay? Elohim appointed the sun to be a great sign on the earth for days, and for Shabbos, and for months, and for feasts, and for years, for Shabbos of years, for jubilees, and for all the seasons of the years. So the sun is the steward over the day, as I was just saying. This is how we count out our 364 days in a year, then we start back over. Okay, the sun knows his going down. He marches out his circuit in perfect order. He goes around his circuit. He passes through 6 different gates within the course of a year. That's how the length of the day becomes shorter and longer, and it affects the seasons and all that. Okay? And it divides the light from the darkness, and for posterity, that all things may prosper, which shoot and grow on the earth. These 3 kinds he made on the 4th day. Let me just rewind this a little bit for a second here. And Elohim appointed the sun to be a great sign on the earth for days, for Shabbos, for months, for feasts, for years, for Shabbos of years, for jubilees, and for all seasons of the years. Okay? Alright, Baruk Yahuah. We get very limited information right here on the moon. Next to none. But we have many other places where we have a lot of information on the moon, and I go into a lot of that. See, this straight line shadow thing? Brother, let me tell you something. The straight line shadow is never going to march out 364 perpetually in all your generations as the scripture commands. Okay? So we have to believe the word of Elohim above what we just observe with our own eyes. That's not commanded of us. That's people taking scripture and twisting it around to create that understanding. And there's a lot of them, unfortunately. It's also a form of sun worship when you think about it. In fact, some of those people even say that the calendar begins on the 4th day when the sun was created. But the thing is, Yahuwah told us that it began on the 1st day. He said he made the sun on the 4th day. He never restarted counting. He rested on the 7th day, period. Right? The moon wasn't always by earth. It was towed here. Yeah, no, that's false. Be very careful of this guy here, you guys, Joshua Bacon, who says he's related to Sir Francis Bacon, okay? Let me see where I was. All right, so we're going to go into the 5th day. And on the 5th day, he created great sea monsters in the depths of the waters. For these were the first things of all flesh that were created by his hands. Did you see that? You are not going to get that in your KJV, family. Okay? We need to understand these things. Everything, okay. The fish and everything that moves in the waters and everything that flies, the birds and all their kind. And the sun rose above them to prosper them. And above everything that was on the earth, everything that shoots out of the earth, and all the fruit-bearing trees and all flesh. These three kinds he created on the fifth day. This is a sefer that I'm reading from, Squirrel. The sefer. Okay? And on the sixth day, he created all the animals on the earth, and all cattle, and everything that moves on the earth. And after all this, he created man. A man and a woman, he created them, and gave him dominion over all that is upon the earth and in the seas, and over everything that flies, and over every beast, and over cattle, and over everything that moves on the earth, and over the whole earth, and over all this he gave him dominion. And these four kinds he created on the sixth day, and they're all together 22 kinds. 22 kinds. I listened to this guy the other day who was saying, oh, it's impossible to fit all the different types of species and everything in the ark and da 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 da. It says of their kinds. It's definitely not impossible. He's speculating that that the ark just had DNA in it. You know? Isn't it also interesting that it's 22, just like the number of letters in the Abrith language? The perfect, pure tongue of Yahuah and angels that he wrote with his own finger. 22 letters. Baruk Yahuah. And no vowel points. If you know, you know. There's no vowel points. Baruk Yahuah. Okay? And he finished all his work on the sixth day. All that is in the heavens and on the earth and in the sea, in the abysses, and in the light and in the darkness, and in everything. Everything created. Baruk Yahuah. And he gave us a great sign, the Shabbat, that we should work 6 days, but guard the Shabbat on the seventh day from all work. You guys know I said earlier, right? The pattern of 7 can't be broken. So when you stop and think about it, you should never have any, like, oh, you work 2 days and then it's the seventh day. Oh, this month we work 3 days and then it's the seventh day. Oh, this year we work 4 days and then it's the seventh day. All of those are wrong. Every single one of those is wrong. If you want to email me, jdbull15@aol.com, and for those over here on the YouTube channel, it's in the description of every video, and I will send you a free copy of the commandment. Hey, what's up, Michael? Shalom, shalom. That's right. It says remember the Shabbat and guard it. You got to guard it because everybody's trying to make war against it. Some of them are doing it because they're naive and they're deceived, right? Every single one of these false religious systems, these 501c3 institutions, are all sun-worshipping cults rooted in Babylon and the fallen angels, worshipping the fallen angels and the titans, the Nephilim, okay? Changing times and seasons, which ultimately the Father allowed to happen because the sons of Noah broke the agreement when they drank the blood. They were commanded to not drink the blood, and right after Noah passed away, they broke it. Yahuwah told him that they were going to do it. Facts. All right? So we have this great sign, the Shabbat, that we should work 6 days, but guard the Shabbat on the seventh day from all work. And all the angels of the presence and the angels of the sanctification, the two great classes, he has bidden us to guard the Shabbat with him in heaven and on earth. We will be keeping the Shabbat in the New Jerusalem, in the Shemayim. Okay? his Moedim is written on sapphire stones in the Shemayim, which is outside of the creation of space and time. It's always existed. It's the same thing with his commandments. It's perpetual in all your generations, right? Submit yourself to Yahuwah and live. Baruk Yahuah. And he said unto us, behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among all the peoples, and these shall guard the true Shabbat, right? And I will sanctify them unto myself as my people, and I will Baruk them. As I have sanctified the Shabbat, and do sanctify it unto myself, even so will I Baruk them, and they shall be my people, and I will be their Elohim. Barak Yahuah, hallelujah. That's what Qadashayam is. Yahuwah saying, my righteous peoples. My righteous peoples, right? That I will sanctify unto myself by my Ruach. When earlier he told Masha, I will give my Ruach Ha'Qadash to them, and they will walk in my commandments. Baruk Yahuah. And I have chosen the seed of Yaakov. That's what I say, Yashar'Al. Yaakov became Yashar'Al. That's why it's my righteous peoples of Yashar'Al. Do you see? My Baruk Yahuah. And I have chosen the seed of Yaakov from among all that I have seen, and have written him down as my firstborn son, and have sanctified him unto myself forever and ever. And I will teach them the Shabbat, that they may guard the Shabbat thereon from all work. Baruk Yahuah. That's right. Aliens are not from other rocks in space. They are demonic entities, disembodied spirits, like the ones that Yahusha cast into the swine, that they said, we are legion, for we are many. Baruk Yahuah. Okay? It's the same thing with this ghosts, that people say that they have conversations with ghosts and stuff. They're dealing with wicked spirits, whether they know it or not, because some of them know it. Okay? There was a guy that was under Queen Elizabeth that received the Latin language backwards, and he even said, whether these are good angels or bad angels, I don't really know, but he was doing the thing crying, where I think it's called scrying, where they stare into like water or liquid and then they get visions. Anyway, Yahuwah says, I will teach them the Shabbat, and that they may guard the Shabbat thereon from all work. And thus he created there a sign in accordance with which they should guard the Shabbat with us on the seventh day, to eat and to drink and to Baruk him who has created all things, and he has Baruked and sanctified unto himself a peculiar people above all peoples, and that they should guard the Shabbat together with us. I don't know how many times I've said this before, but how fitting is it right now? Those who say that they are Yashar'Al but do lie, those who are squatting in the land that was not given to their fathers because it was given to Shem, right? Not to Canaan, not to Japheth, to Shem. Do you think that those people would have his placed apart day that he's saying he's giving only to this peculiar people to have his Shabbat? They all tell us that it's on Saturn's day, which is a form of Satan worship. Okay, eating meat sacrificed to idols. They're not in the agreement. They're not his bride. Okay, they deceive the whole world that they are, but they're not. In fact, they even look to change the laws, to change the Daborim, the 10 words, with another set of words, which ultimately may cause to a person like me losing this from atop of these shoulders. Okay? I hope you know that even our own government has allowed these things to be passed, and when they flip the switch on that and green light that on that, then that's when the real persecution of the true Qadashayam will begin. And most of the Extians will be cheering for it and rooting it on. Just telling you. All right. Verse 23, and I'm in chapter 2. And he caused his commandment to ascend as a sweet savor, acceptable before him all the days. There were 22 heads of mankind from Adam to Jacob, and 22 kinds of work were made until the seventh day. So just like I said, and there's 22 letters. Okay? This is Barukid and Qadash. And the former also is Barukid and Qadash. And this one serves with that one for sanctification and for Barukah. And to this Jacob and his seed, it was granted that they should always be the Barukid and the Qadashayam of the first testimony and Thurah, even as he had sanctified and Baruch the Shabbat on the seventh day. He created heaven and earth and everything that he created in 6 days, and Elohim made the seventh day Qadash for all his works. Therefore he commanded on its behalf that whosoever does any work thereon shall expire. I'll just use that word. And that he who defiles it will surely expire. Excuse me. Wherefore you did command the children of Yashar'Al to observe this day, that they may keep it Qadash, and not do thereon any work, and not defile it, as it is more righteous or placed apart than all the other days. Whosoever profanes it shall surely expire. Whosoever does thereon any work shall surely expire eternally. I mean, don't you guys think it's kind of wild how they try to teach in Christianity, the lawless and idolatrous cult that it is, that you don't have to keep the Shabbat? Whew! It's craziness. Whosoever profanes it shall surely expire. Whosoever does thereon any work shall expire eternally. And the children of Yashar'Al may observe this day throughout their generations, and not be rooted out of the land, for it is Qadash and a Barukid day. And everyone who observes it and guards the Shabbat thereon from all his work will be Qadash and Barukid throughout all his days, like unto us. Declare and say to the children of Yashar'Al the Thurah of this day, both that they should guard the Shabbat thereon, and that they should not forsake it in the error of their hearts, and that it is against the Thurah to do any work thereon, which is unseemly to do thereon. Their own pleasure, don't even do things your own pleasure, right? And they should not prepare on there anything to be eaten or drunk, and that it is against the Thurah to draw water, or to bring in or take out thereon through their gates any burden which they had not prepared for themselves on the 6th day of their dwellings. So my understanding and my belief is that if you've already prepared your manna, so to say, right, for the 7th day, on the 6th day, you just partake of it. You don't cook anything clean from scratch, right? Even like we have a Berkey right here for water, right? So we don't fill up the Berkey on the Shabbat, but we can get some water out of it because it's not really work. It's just a container. It's already there. It's not saying you can't have any water and you can't have any food and all that. That breaks the pattern of scripture that we've already seen established. I mentioned manna because in the wilderness, they had enough manna for each and every day. But on the 7th day, the manna they had from the 6th day lasted. That was the only time it wasn't rotting. Remember? Although other times it would spoil. Father gives us everything we need to have understanding. The thing is, we need to stop listening to these so-called experts who've deceived us with a lot of things, you know. Yeah, we can get all of our truth from his words and from his Ruach, We don't need someone else to be teaching us these things. We really don't. Okay? Okay, now remember also it was talking about the burden within the gates. The gates would be like your little community. Can we go outside and walk on this road? Absolutely. We do that on Shabbat when the weather allows. We appreciate his creation and we just go out there and we have a walk and it's wonderful. There's horses out there and all that. But we don't leave the town. You don't go off on a journey. You don't exchange money. You know, these things. The version that I'm reading from is the Sefer. Dude, I mean, gosh, I don't want to have to do this, but people leave me no choice sometimes. I don't want community filtered. I don't want you big brother in me. Alright, sorry guys, I had to block that person because they're really loco, right? Talking to people about Star Childs and whatever. Can I just tell you, in the book of Jude, we see that the fallen angels are referred to as these stars that have left their former estates, the wandering stars. We know that from the scripture that they produced seed with mankind. Those are the children of the fallen stars. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? And you're right, Michael, there's no such thing as space. That's right, Michael, the Nephilim, the Nephal. Right? Okay. And they tell us these things in movies and music. They boast about it and they brag about it and everything else. You're welcome. It's my honor to share his words of truth. I had to block that person just so you guys know, okay? You don't need to continue to try to engage with them. They're no longer here. All right. And they shall not bring in nor take out from house to house on that day, for that day is more Qadash and Barukah than any Jubilee day of the Jubilees. On this we kept Shabbat in heaven, before it was even made known to any flesh to guard the Shabbat there on earth. See what I'm saying? The seventh day is outside of space and time. Space meaning spatial recognition, like, how far, this. Not outer space, but the creation of things and matter and all that. Okay? All right, Baruk Atah. Let me see. And the creator of all things baruked it, and he did not sanctify all peoples and all nations to guard the Shabbat, but Yashar'Al alone. That's what I'm trying to say. I've been saying this for a while. Those people who say they're Yashar'Al and do lie, they are not going to have his place apart seventh day. They don't even guard his commandment. They deny Yahusha. Okay? We're reading from the Sefer right now. This is the book of Jubilees. Okay? Yashar'Al alone, them alone, he permitted to eat and to drink and to guard the Shabbat on the earth. And the creator of all things, Baruch this day, which he had created for a Barukah and for righteousness and for the esteem of all days. This is the Thurah and the testimony given to the children of Yashar'Al as a Thurah forever unto their generations. It is not done away with. It is not expired. It will never expire, and it can never be broken. It's kept in the Shemayim before the foundation of the world, and it will continue when the heavens and the earth are renewed. Baruk Atah. Baruk Atah. Okay? Those who are walking in false moedims have not been given to understand the truth. That's what we have to deal with. Chapter 3. And on the 6th day of the second week. Now understand, I said this earlier, I'll refresh. Second week we brought according to the word of Elohim, Adam, all the beasts. So this is the 14th year. Okay, because the Jubilee is 50 years and the week in here is 7 years. So it might say something like it was the 40th Jubilee and the 17th week or something like this. On the 6th day of the 2nd week, we brought according to the word of Elohim. Actually, I'm going to need to rewind the tape on this. Back. You keep repeating the word. What does that mean for Rasha? I keep repeating what word? Are you trying to say Ruach? Ruach? How come the comments are being blocked out now? Hang on one second, you guys. Look, your guys' comments are being filtered, all because I blocked that one person. And I don't want that to happen. Yeah, the book is Jubilees, Rob. You can't see the comments. You might be able to see them now, Maylin, because I had to allow them. See, it's doing it. Oh, a bunch of them. Hang on, let me see if I can figure this out. Comment settings. Allow comments on. Filter comments. I'm gonna turn that off. Okay, I tried to say that I didn't want it, but it wouldn't let me close the box until I pressed that I agreed. And I'm like, no, big brother, I don't need you to babysit me. We're all grown-ups in here, okay? Rebuke them? You mean rebuke? Or refute? Rebuke, what's that? All right, so let me go back. Okay, I said chapter 3. On the 6th day of the 2nd week, we brought, so this literally is the 2nd week of creation. So I stand corrected and I apologize. On the 6th day of the 2nd week, we brought according to the word of Elohim unto Adam all the beasts and all the cattle and all the birds and everything that moves on the earth and everything that moves in the water according to their kinds and according to their types. The beasts on the 1st day, the cattle on the 2nd day, the birds on the 3rd day, and all that moves on the earth on the 4th day, and that which moves in the water on the 5th day. And Adam named them all by their respective names. And as he called them, so it was their name. And on these 5 days Adam saw all these, male and female, according to every kind that was on the earth, but he was alone, and found no help meet for him. Let me see if I missed any of y'all's questions. I do apologize. If I miss a question, I'll try. Got logged off and missed that. I'm not sure what you mean. Hopefully everything's working well with the live, you guys. If you have a question, please put it in the chat and I'll try to catch it, okay? I don't have my Yashar'Al with me right now. She's spending time with our seed. Okay. Chapter 3, verse 4, and Yahuwah said unto us, it is not ta'ub that the man should be alone. Let us make a helpmeet for him. And Yahuwah Eloheinu caused a deep sleep to fall upon him, and he slept. And he took for the woman one rib from amongst his ribs, and this rib was the origin of the woman, for amongst his ribs, from amongst his ribs, and he built up the flesh in its stead, and built the woman. Then he awakened Adam out of his sleep. On awakening, he arose on the 6th day, and brought her to him, and he knew her, and said unto her, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken from her man. This is a Sefer. You know the Sefer? And this is the book of Jubilees, so it's not in most Bibles or Babbles, just so you know. All right, so now we have Adam and Yahuwah. It's the second week of creation. Okay? He's already named all the animals, and now he has a wife. His wife. Okay? Therefore shall man and woman be one. After therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and cleave unto his woman, and they shall be one flesh. In the first week Adam was created, and the rib, his woman, in the second week. So Adam was made in the first week, and Yahuah in the second week. Okay? He showed her unto him, and for this reason the commandment was given to keep in their defilement for a male 7 days, and for a female twice 7 days. I don't know if you guys know about this. It has to do with in Levitical law. After a woman gives birth, how long she's supposed to separate herself from the rest of the family until her uncleanness passes. Okay, and the time, if she has a baby boy, it's different than if she has a baby girl. And it's explaining right here that the reason why is because man was made in the first week and woman was made in the second week. Okay, so now you have an understanding that goes deeper than what you had before. Baruk Yahuah. And after Adam had completed 40 days in the land where he had been created, we brought him into the Garden of Eden to till and to guard it. But his woman they brought on the 18th day, and after this she entered into the garden. So this is very interesting. Let's take a look at this again. And after Adam had completed 40 days in the land where he had been created, we brought him into the Garden of Eden to till and to guard it. But his woman they brought in on the 18th day, and after this she entered into the garden. So he first went in 40 days, which is interesting when you think about all the times when it talks about 40 days and 40 nights, fasting even. So that's that number again. And then with Yahuah, again later, 18 days later. Okay? For this reason, the commandment is written on the heavenly tablets. Again, that's the sapphire stones of the firmament. Heavenly tablets. To her that gives birth, if she bear a male, she shall remain in her uncleanness 7 days, according to the first week of days. And 33 days shall she remain in the blood of her purification, and she shall not touch any sanctified thing, nor enter into the sanctuary until she completes these days, which are enjoined in the case of a male child. But in the case of a female child, she shall remain in her uncleanness 2 weeks of days, according to the first 2 weeks, and 66 days in the blood of her purification, and they will be in all 80 days. So it's double the time. So back here, I feel like I said 18 days she came in to the garden, but it's 80. Let me just double check. Adam had completed 40 days in the land before he went into the Garden of Eden, but his woman they brought in, I kept saying 18th or something, but it's 80th. So it's twice as long. So you had 7 days for the male, and you had 14 days for the female. Then you had 33 in addition to the 7, right? 33 and 7 is 40. And then you had 66 and 8. So now you're up to 80. So it's twice as long, right? Is anybody doing that? Anybody? Anywhere? Anyone? No. I don't think so, family. But this is commanded, right? See how far we've fallen from these things? Like, it's pretty wild. And you don't have to have jubilees to recognize the point I just made. You could just go by the Bible standard and be like, oh, yikes, we weren't doing that either. I'm confused. They went back into the garden after they had children. So this is another thing, right? In Christianity, our understanding is that they created him right in the garden. But that doesn't really say that. That's just comes to us from images or movies or Sunday school teachers, right? You know, that's actually not true. So it is that they're created in the land, but they were never put into this paradise until after they were put into the paradise. It explains it right here when it happened, right? So for Adam, it was 40 days. Then imagine he's there for a while without her. You know? That's what the scriptures say, family. Okay? But in the case of the female child, she shall remain in her uncleanness 2 weeks a days according to the first 2 weeks of creation, and 66 days in the blood of her purification, and they will be in all 80 days. And when she had completed the 80 days, we brought her into the Garden of Eden, for it is more clean, more righteous than all the earth besides, and every tree that is planted in it is Qadash. So at the time that they were placed into the garden, they were clean. See that? Okay? Now we know that they get cast out, and it gets guards set up, angels, and not allowed to enter back in. Okay? Is it too late for a person to get right with God? No. It's not too late for people to get right with Yahuah. His name is Yahuah. He is the creator. Okay? Hamashiach, Yahusha, is our path to enter into righteousness with the Father. God is a Babylonian deity of fortune, and you shall not speak that name. Did the Most High create all things and know all things? Of course. Of course, Rai. Hatah happened before offspring. So kicked out of the garden before children, and they went back in after. They weren't in there until they were just now went in there. First they were created just in land on the earth, but they were not in the garden yet. They just now got put into the garden. Then, but, hang on, it's going kind of fast. Then, but not be proof that all things come from, then, but that's not proof that all things come from the Father. I don't understand your question, Rai. I don't even know where you render a spelling of Yashar'Al. That came from some people that want to put an A after every single letter. But if you go look at the letters, you're not going to see that. Okay? It's Yashar'Al. Yashar'Al. I don't spell anything with E's because there is no E's in the Abrit language. You don't even know who I am, Salawah 78. I'm a son of Shamyan, of Yashar'Al. If you think that you can tell just by looking at someone, then you show your ignorance of the scriptures, because we're known by our fruits. Who is my mother? Who is my brother? But he who guards the commandments of the Most High Yahuah. I appreciate verbatim. I don't know what you mean, I appreciate verbatim. You are going off. Is this not proof that all things come from the Father, since the Father created all things? All things come from the Father, yeah. I'm going off of the true word. Okay. I guess. So you say. All right. So they're in the garden now, right? Therefore, there was ordained regarding her who bears a male or a female child the statute of the days, that she should touch no sanctified thing, nor enter into the sanctuary until the days for the male or the days for the female are accomplished. This is the Torah and the testimony which was written down for Yashar'Al, in order that they should observe all the days. And in the first week of the first Jubilee, Adam and his woman were in the garden. Okay, now remember earlier when I explained to you guys that when it says week, it means 7 years. It's starting now. Before, it was literally the second week of creation. So I had to go back and correct myself, and I apologize. Now, we're beyond that. Okay? So it says, in the first week of the first Jubilee. The first week would be the first 7 years. All right? Adam and his woman were in the garden for 7 years, tilling and guarding it. And we gave him work and instructed him to do everything that is suitable for tillage. Okay? So they're in the garden now. They're doing the works that they need to do there, tilling the ground of the garden. They were naked and did not know it. Right? It says, and was naked and knew it not, and was not ashamed. And he protected the garden from the birds and the beasts and the cattle, and gathered the fruits, and did eat, and put aside the remnant for himself and for his woman, and put aside that which was being kept. So again, Gentile just means other nations. Yashar'Al is referred to as Gui in the scriptures. You are a hateful racist, and I will just go ahead and block you. Okay? You have no understanding, but you could learn if you'd be willing to just humble yourself, and then you could learn. But no. Because a YTPPL can't teach you anything, right? So sad, you guys. So look, they were collecting and gathering fruit, and they would save some for the Shabbat day as well, right? Because they were keeping the Shabbat. Of course they were keeping the Shabbat. The Shabbat is kept in the Shemayim by the angels, and Adam and Eve are in the garden, and they have not fallen, they have not transgressed. We have no mention of them transgressing yet. They are there for a while without any transgression. We already know it's the 7th year. You see what I'm saying? All right, Baruk Yahuah. And after the completion of the 7 years, which he had completed there, 7 years exactly, and in the 2nd month, in the 17th day of the month, the serpent came and appeared to the woman, and the serpent said to the woman, has Elohim commanded you, saying, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And she said to it, of all the fruit of the trees of the garden, Elohim has said to us, eat. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim said to us, you shall not eat thereof. Now didn't she add this part? Neither shall you touch it, lest you expire or perish. Didn't she add that part? See, when we don't handle the word properly, we can be deceived, right? Because there's a little adding to the word, a little taking away of the word. Just like Hashatan met Yahusha in the wilderness, and he said, oh, is it not written? Right? Cast yourself down, and they shall not allow a stone to... how did it go? The devil was misquoting the scripture, and Yahusha had to say, you shall not tempt Yahuwah your Elohim. Right? So you have to have all the scriptures and not let it contradict anything. Because if you let it contradict anything, you are wrong in your understanding. Right? We all agree? Okay. So she added, neither shall you touch it, lest you perish. And the serpent said, you shall not perish. See, he could be there with his little fingers crossed behind his little Masonic back and being like, oh, you're not going to perish if you touch it. Finishing the sentence in his own head, silently. They do these things. They do these things. I hope you know about that. The serpent said unto the woman, you shall not surely expire. Elohim knows that on the day you shall eat thereof, your eyes will be open, and you will be as Elohim, and you will know Taub, and you will know evil. And the woman saw the tree, that it was agreeable and pleasant to the eye, and that its fruit was Taub for food. And she took and she ate. And when she had first covered her shame with fig leaves, she gave thereof to Adam, and he ate. And his eyes were open, and he saw that he was naked for the first time after 7 years. Okay? Yeah. She transgressed. Serpent caught her kind of alone. Don't know where Adam was. She transgressed. She covered up in her shame first, and then went and found him and convinced him to do the same thing. So he took fig leaves and sewed them together and made an apron for himself and covered his shame. And Elohim cursed the serpent and was wroth with it forever. Forever. Can he repent? Can he be forgiven? No. Okay? We still can. And may you repent and bear fruit, meet for repentance. He was wroth with the woman also, because she had hearkened unto the voice of the serpent and did eat. And he said unto her, I will greatly multiply your sorrow and your pains. In sorrow shall you bring forth children, and your return shall be unto your man, and he will rule over you. This is also in Genesis, right? This is an issue that our sisters have, that they want to be over. Man. And they struggle with it. To be submissive, to be righteous, to be Qadash. And the enemy knows that. And there's a whole movement out there in the world that takes advantage of that. Okay? But it goes all the way back to here. This was a curse put upon our sisters, our daughters, our wives, guys. We need to understand this. Okay? We need to have great understanding of this so that we can deal with that, so we can deal with them when they wrestle with these things in a merciful way. Baruk Yahuah. Baruk Yahuah. Okay? And to Adam, he said, because you have hearkened unto the voice of your woman instead of me, right? Abu Yah saying, hey, instead of listening to me, what I told you to do, you submitted to her. And did the thing which I commanded you not. Any guy out here who's a husband and a father and is honest is going to admit that they struggle with that too. Right? Because we want to please our wives, and sometimes we make decisions or enter into agreement on certain things that we might feel, that's probably not right. You have eaten of the tree which I commanded that you should not eat. Cursed be the ground for your sake. That's the earth, right? Think about that, guys. That's a big time curse, right? Thorns and thistles shall it bring forth to you, and you shall eat your bread in the sweat of your face, till you return to the earth from whence you were taken. For earth you are, and unto earth shall you return. And he made for them coats of skins, and clothed them, and sent them forth from the garden of Eden. They're being cast out of the garden now. Coats of skins. Okay. Some people theorize that they were just in somehow like in a spiritual form before this, and now that he made them actual flesh suits of like this flesh. Okay. But then I wouldn't understand the significance of being naked or not being naked or anything of that if they weren't flesh suits, right? So I think this is an example of the first animal sacrifice to cover chata, which is transgression. Okay? Okay. And on the day on which Adam went forth from the garden, he offered as a sweet savor an offering of frankincense, galbanum, stacte, spices, in the dawning with the rising of the sun from the day when he covered his shame. So, how does he know to make sacrifices? Right? Remember, they walk with Yahuwah in the cool of the day. They understand the Shabbat and how to guard the Shabbat and when it is. Okay? So they already have some understanding of these things. I mean, how did Cain and Abel know to make sacrifices and we hadn't even gone to Mount Sinai yet? Well, because they already had this understanding before that. It's just that it became lost and it was given back again. Just like for many of us, it was lost, and he's giving it back to us again. It's not new, and it doesn't go away. Okay? It's that we fall from understanding. All right. And on that day was closed the mouth of all beasts and of cattle and birds and whatsoever walks and whatsoever moves, so that they could no longer speak. So you guys understand, right? In that movie, like Avatar, they communicated with the animals and all that. Like, there's a lot of truth that's built into these deceptive programs, okay? Right here, we have in Qadash scriptures, in the book of Jubilees, that they were talking with the animals before all this. Okay? Now that was lost. Do you think it will be recaptured? Do you think it will be recaptured in the new heaven, the new earth? There's even going to be a time when these animals are going to defend the righteous from the wicked. That's going to be wild, you guys. We don't even know what to think. We might be cornered or surrounded by some bloodthirsty heathen, and all of a sudden some animal shows up to rescue us or to cause a distraction or to trample them or whatever. That's amazing. Some of you out there know that that is the truth, right? Right, Aki? All right, so let's see. Sometimes it's hard to get each page. No longer speak, okay? For they had all spoken, one with another, with one lip and with one tongue. All the animals, Adam and Yahuah, all speaking together in the same language, the same tongue, all in understanding. There's like this stupid ad on YouTube and they're like, how is it that a snake can talk? And why is it cursed to crawl on its belly when that's what snakes already do? First of all, it's not a snake. It's probably more like a winged dragon, okay? Who got its wings clipped, was grounded, couldn't fly. And all the animals were already speaking to each other. See? See what I mean? Question. When Yahuah descended down to the Tower of Babel to confuse the language, they say we. Yeah, sometimes they write it in here as we. There's a plurality that's written into the oneness of Yahuah, just like it says Allahim. Usually when you have Hey Yod Mem at the end of a word, it means plurality. But the thing is, think about it. In his oneness, he is everything. He is all things. He is all encompassing. So I say that's why he's referred to as a plurality, because there's already plurality in the oneness. There is no Trinity. It comes from Babylonian mysticism. Okay? The Ruach Ha'Qadash, the righteous spirit of Yahuah, is one with Yahuah. Yahuah is spirit. When he takes on flesh and comes down to the earth, it's the mighty right hand of Yahuah, the saving right hand. I hope that answers your question. That's a great question. Thank you for that question. All right. So they're all speaking in one tongue. And he sent out of the Garden of Eden all flesh that was in the garden, and all flesh was scattered according to its kind, according to its types, unto places which had been created for them. Already knowing that this was going to happen. Now imagine all these creatures are in the garden. Everything's walking in righteousness and kadashness. Remember what he said to the man? Now all the earth is cursed because of you. Right? Everything had to come out of the garden. In the garden, everything's perfect. Everything's perfect. It says later in here that the location, which will shock many of you, is the land that was promised to Shem when they cast lots for the land. The land to the north went to Japheth where it's cold. The land to the south went to Ham where it's hot. The land in the middle where it's neither hot nor cold went to Shem. That's why Noah is a prophet. One of the reasons why Noah is a prophet. When he said, Baruk it be Shem, cursed be Canaan. Cursed be Canaan, son of Ham. Canaan wasn't even born yet, y'all. Okay? Gotta understand. Alright, so now everything's cast out of the garden. Now, according to its types and cons, it was put into the place where it's put. In other words, you're going to fly, you're going to swim, right? You're going to be in the area where it's cold, you're going to be in the area where it's hot, that kind of thing. And to Adam alone did he give the wherewithal to cover his shame of all the beasts and cattle. So, all of creation suffers for the iniquity, for the transgression that happened in this picture, right? But they're not mindful of it. They're not conscious of it. we, humans, mankind, are aware, and most people seek to cover that, denying the truth in their unrighteousness. Yeah. On this account it is prescribed on the heavenly tablets, as touching all those who know the judgment of the Thurah, that they should cover their shame and should not uncover themselves as the other nations uncovered themselves. And on the new moon of the 4th month, the new moon of the 4th month, if you know, you know. If you don't, please go check out my playlist calendars and get understanding about this, because I don't know anybody who's guarding the new moons. My family is, and a few people that I've shared this with likely are. The new moon of the 4th month, which would be the marker for the first day of summer. Adam and his woman went forth from the garden. They dwelt in the land of Elda, in the land of their creation. So this is where they, going back to where they were first made. Earlier, I think it was May Anna was asking like how it was that they weren't in the garden. They weren't created in the garden. They were placed in the garden. Then they fell and they were removed from the garden. Now they're back in Elda to where they were first made. And Adam called the name of his woman Yahuah, and they had no son till the first Jubilee. That's 50 years. 50 years, okay? All right? And then after this, he knew her. Now he tilled the land as he had been instructed in the Garden of Eden. So he continued to do the works that he was taught to do by the angels in the garden and produce fruits from the earth. Okay? We're going into chapter 4. Is Yahuwah... Okay. The second one I don't want to say because it's the name of a foreign mighty one. That second name that you gave is the name of a son of Baal, which I know that's the name of a foreign mighty one too, but I'm trying to speak these things for understanding. Yahweh, some people say it's the Most High. It's not his name. His name is Yahuwah. His name means I am. Okay, let me back up. Ahaya, Achar, Achaya. I am that I am. Okay? You notice it says Ahaya, right? The I am part. And Yahuah means Yah, or I am. U adds breath. He who adds breath means I'm the creator. Okay? Yahush or Yahusha, Yah again, I am. Who adds Shah is salvation. Okay? I am the Savior. So that other one with the there's no W's in Abrith. Okay, there's no E's either. But if you do a deep dive and research and look into that, you're going to see that that's a Canaanite deity that they proclaim to be the son of Baal. Okay? Is it true the people back then lived a lot longer? Absolutely it's true. Absolutely it's true. Okay. Chapter 4. And in the 3rd week of the 2nd Jubilee, she gave birth to Cain. So now we've got to understand. We're in the 3rd week of the 2nd Jubilee, which is going to mean the first Jubilee is already over, so that's 50. Then you got 3 weeks. Could be 21 years, or this could actually just be the 3rd week of that actual 50th year. Cain wasn't even born until 50 years of creation at least finished. Maybe more. Okay? And in the 4th, she gave birth to Chaval, and in the 5th, she gave birth to the daughter. So let's go back. 2nd Jubilee. The 3rd week. So it's definitely not week like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, because you can't have 3 babies in 3 weeks. Okay? So they're divided by 7 years. Do you see? In the 3rd week, which is going to be year number 21 plus 50, so it's 71. So we could actually get from here that Cain was born in the 71st year of creation. If you can see that. Okay? Then you add 7 more, So now we're up to 78th year, Abel, Chabal, and then 7 years after that, Awan. Okay, so now there's 3 children born, not in the garden, they're born outside of the garden. They're all born post-fall, okay? The reason why I entered into this is because I had a YouTuber who asked a question, because some people are teaching that that Cain's father is the serpent and that Abel's father is Adam, and that they're a type of twins that's called a superfetation or superfetaceous twins or something like this. That's not true. We already see that they're divided in their births by 7 years, and they're outside of the garden. She's not pregnant by the snake or the dragon or anything like that. She's pregnant by her husband. Okay? So there, I answered your question. I hope you can see, and we're going to talk about it more too, but there you go. So in the first year of the third Jubilee, so now that's 150 years. No, wait, third Jubilee, yeah. Okay, but the first year. So it's 100. Third Jubilee. So it's year number 101. Okay, 101, that's where we are. It takes a little bit of work to get the dates, but this gives us dates like we never had before. We don't have in any other book. This is literally like a calendar book, right? Okay. Whew. In the first year of the third Jubilee, Cain slew Abel because Elohim accepted the sacrifice of Abel and did not accept the offering of Cain. Now understand too, how many times these offerings have been being made. Shabuot is the annual renewal of the agreement that Yahuah is our Elohim and that we are his people. Every single year it's a renewing. I'm reading from Jubilees, and welcome in. So it's not like people teach in Sunday school or something that, oh, this is the first time that Cain and Abel made sacrifices, and oh yeah, some people argue, oh, one gave meat, another one gave vegetables, that's why, or because of their heart condition. It is because of the heart condition. But don't think this isn't the first time that Cain's offering was refused. He's already given offerings that were not refused. Right? Because like I said, we're in year 101 right now. He was already born in year 71. So that's 30 years. Now, he obviously wasn't making offerings when he was 18, but I don't know if he started making offerings when he was 20, so 10 years worth? I mean, think, right? He's become jealous. He's become hard-hearted. It's not necessarily that he was just born that way. Okay? He slew him in the field, and his blood cried out from the ground to heaven, complaining because he had slain him. It's in other places in the scripture too that the blood cries out, or that the earth cries out with the blood of the innocent, or the cries go up to the heavens and they're heard by the angels. Enoch is in the heavens recording these things and taking them to the throne daily. Baruk Yahuah. And Yahuah reproved Cain because of Chabal, because he had slain him. And he made him a fugitive on the earth because of the blood of his brother. And he cursed him upon the earth. So, wouldn't this be like this whole thing of live by the sword, die by the sword, or you're going to reap what you sow? He took violence upon his brother and to murder him. So, we'll see later that he himself is murdered. Right? And on this account it is written on the heavenly tablets, cursed is he who smites his neighbor treacherously. And let all who have seen and heard say, so be it. Amen. And the man who has seen and not declared it, let him be accursed as the other. So if you witness such a thing and you don't speak up, you're guilty. Okay? And for this reason we announce when we come before Yahuwah all the transgressions which are committed in the Shemayim and on earth and in the light and in darkness and everywhere. And Adam and his woman mourned for Chava 4 weeks of years. 4 weeks of years is 28 years. 28 years they mourned for the loss of their son. And in the 4th year of the 5th week, they became joyful, and Adam knew his woman again, and she bore him a son, called his name Sheth, for he said, Yahuwah has raised up a second seed unto us on the earth instead of Chabal, for Cain slew him. So let's go back and see when this says. In the 4th year of the 5th week, 5 times 7, sorry guys, 35, 39, 39th year, so it's year 139 now. Okay, 139. Then it says, in the 6th week, he begat his daughter Azura. So now you have 6th week is, what's 6 times 7? 42, I think. 42 plus 50, 92. No, I'm sorry, plus 100. 162, 42. Thank you, Aki. 142. So that's where we're at. 142. And there's another daughter named Azura. And Cain took Awan, his sister, to be his woman, and she bore him Chanach at the close of the 4th Jubilee. Close of the 4th Jubilee would be the end of the 200th year, or right around the end of the 200th year. It would take a while to sit down and chart all this and plot out all the numbers, okay? And in the 1st year of the 1st week of the 5th Jubilee, so 201, the 1st year of the 1st week, so that's year 1 of the 1st batch of 7 within the 1st, or within the 5th block of 50. So 4 Jubilees have passed. That's 50, 100, 150, 200. So 201st year, houses were built on the earth. And Cain built a city, calling it after the name of his son Chanach. And Adam knew Hua, his woman, and she bore yet 9 more sons. We don't have that in Genesis. We don't have that. I mean, there's quite a few different children here that are being born that we don't know about, okay? And in the 5th week of the 5th Jubilee, Sheth took Azura, his sister, to be his woman, and in the 4th year of the 6th week, she bore him Enosh. He began to call on the name of Yahuwah on the earth. Why is it important that they're telling us that he began to call on the name of the earth, of Yahuwah? Probably because the other ones weren't. Some of the other ones weren't, right? This is the 5th week. Sheth took Azura. And in the 7th Jubilee, in the 3rd week, Enosh took Naam, his sister, to be his woman, and she bore him a son in the 3rd year of the 5th week, and he called his name Canaan. Canaan? Some of the names repeat, so we don't want to get mixed up. Probably because having a relationship still with God. Can you tell me how it has passed since God created the world until now? I cannot tell you exactly that, but it wasn't created by God. God is the name of the Babylonian deity of fortune. Okay? The name of the creator is Yahuwah. I am not live on YouTube, but I'm recording on that device to upload to YouTube because I've had so many lives on here get interrupted, and then the quality of the video later is no bueno. So that camera is recording for YouTube, and I just want to be on here to answer questions and talk with y'all. Okay. At the close of the 8th Jubilee, Canaan took Mahaleth, his sister, to be his woman, and she bore him a son in the 9th Jubilee, in the 1st week, on the 3rd year this week, and call his name Mahalal. So now here's a great example of how this would look, guys. So you have she bore him a son in the 9th Jubilee. So that means 8 Jubilees have passed. So that's already 400. 400 plus it was the 1st week in the 3rd year. So now it's basically 403. That's where we are. Hey, Shalom, Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, by the way. Shabbat Shalom. All right. So that's year 403 for this birth right here. And in the 2nd week of the 10th Jubilee, Mahalal took unto him to be his woman Dinah, the daughter of Baruk Atah, the daughter of his father's brother, and she bore him a son in the 3rd week in the 6th year, and call his name Yared. For in his days the angels of Yahuah descended on the earth, those who are named the watchers, that they should instruct the children of man, that they should do the judgment and unrighteousness upon the earth. So there you go. Genesis chapter 6, verse 4, right? Let me see. Let me just verify real quick. Sorry, guys. Genesis 6:4. There were Nephilim on the earth in those days, who also gathered afterward, when the sons of Elohim came into the daughters of Adam, and they bore children unto them. The same became warriors and tyrants, which were from everlasting. Okay? So now it's telling us that this act finally happened. And we can compare the Garden of Eden. Okay? They were created outside of the garden. Then they were put in the garden. Adam was put in the garden on the 40th day. Yahuah was put in the garden on the 80th day. Then it told us how there was like 7 years that they were going and they had not fallen yet. And then the serpent came into the garden, and it told us when the serpent came into the garden. And then from there it keeps telling us timelines so we can see how far was it from this event to the first Nephilim being born. Okay? We can see it right here, family. This is amazing. So it says, in the 2nd week of the 10th Jubilee. So 10 Jubilees would be the year 500. Okay? But it's not the 10th Jubilee completed yet. We're in the 10th Jubilee. So it's 450. 450 plus the 2nd week, which is 14th year. 14. I almost need to start making notes and write it down. 450 plus 14 is 464, right? So it's already year 464, and the angels are producing seed with females on the earth. Okay? So there you go. I'm learning so much right now, you guys. This is amazing. Baruk Yahuah. I mean, how many times did Cain make sacrifices that were acceptable before Yahuah? How do they know to make the sacrifices? Because these things are written on sapphire tablets, heavenly stones. This Yared right here, is this the same Yared that trained up? I don't think so. It wouldn't make sense for it to be the same. Because Noah married Jared's daughter, and Jared taught Moses. I'm sorry, Masha. So no way. No, we're not there yet. Okay, this is great. That they should instruct the children of man, that they should do the judgments and uprightness upon the earth. So the watchers were supposed to lead us in righteousness. That's what they were supposed to do. But they didn't. They did what was right in their own eyes. They left their assignments. They didn't submit to the Most High Yah. Right? They were beguiled too. Right? And in the 11th Jubilee, Jared took to himself a woman, and her name was Baraka, the daughter of Rasiel, a daughter of his father's brother, in the 4th week of this Jubilee, and she bore him a son in the 5th week, in the 4th year of the Jubilee, and called his name Hanoch. And he was the first. Okay, so that Jared was the father of Enoch, Baruk Yahuah, of course. And he was the first among man that are born on the earth who learned writing and knowledge and wisdom, and who wrote down the signs of the heavens according to the order of their months in a sephar, that man might know the seasons of the years according to the orders of their separations of months. And he was the first write a testimony. And he testified to the sons of man among the generations of the earth, and recounted the weeks of the jubilees, and made known to them the days of the years, and placed them all in the orders of the months, and recounted the Shabbats of the years as they were made known to him, and what was and what will be he saw in visions in his sleep. And it will happen to the children of man throughout the generations, until that great and terrible day of the judgment. Until the day of the judgment, he saw and understood everything, writing it, the testimony, placing it on earth for all the children of man and for their generations. Baruk Yahuah. Baruk Yahuah. All right. We got great videos on Chanukah. There's 5 parts. You could go watch them on the YouTube channel, Qadashayam of Yasharal. Those are awesome, you guys. And in the 12th Jubilee, in the 7th week thereof, he took to himself a woman, and her name was Adnah, the daughter of Dan-al, the daughter of his father's brother. And in the 6th year, in this week, she bore him a son, and called his name Methuselah. And he was moreover with the angels of Elohim the 6 jubilees of years, and they showed him everything which is on the earth and in the heavens. The rule of the sun, which means the law of the sun, he wrote down everything. Enoch 72, Baruk Yahuah. Why have I been moved to also not cut my hair or beard? I don't know, Aki. That's what the Father did to me 2020. Look at this, it's been growing. Stuff is crazy long. It's like long beard. I don't know. I would say it means you're called. Baruk Yahuah. Obey him. Obey him in everything you can, man. Every single thing you can, okay? And he testified to the watchers who had transgressed with the daughters of mankind. For these had begun to unite themselves so as to be defiled with the daughters of Adam. And Yahuah testified against them all. So I don't know if you know, in the book of Chanukah, these fallen angels send Enoch, go to the Most High Yah and tell him we're sorry and apologize for us and all this. And he goes and he comes back and he says, you're not forgiven. You will not be forgiven. And he tells them the judgments that are going to come to them. That's facts. That's why demons hate us so much. That's why they're so twisted, defiled, angry, because they're unforgiven. And yet we, who are of the dust of the ground, are esteemed as much to judge angels someday. They are madly jealous. Yep. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, Aki. Let me follow you. Please go subscribe to my YouTube channel too, brother, and share that stuff. Alright, we're running out of time here. He testified to the watchers who had transgressed against the daughters of Adam and began to unite themselves, and thus had defiled with the daughters of man. Enoch testified against them all. He was taken from amongst the children of Adam, and we conducted him into the garden of Eden in majesty and esteem, and behold, there he writes down the condemnation and the judgments of the world and all the wickedness of the children of Adam. So, honey, my beloved Asha, if you're listening to this, if you check this out later, I don't know if I should look over here. Here's some strong evidence in Jubilees chapter 4 about what your theory was about the Garden of Eden, okay? All right. And on account of it, Elohim brought the waters of the flood upon the land of Eden. For there he was placed a sign that should testify against all the children of man, that he should recount all the deeds of the generations until the day of the condemnation. And he burnt the incense of the sanctuary, even sweet spices acceptable before Yahuwah on the mount. More sacrifices being made. Prior to Sinai, guys. Come on. For Yahuwah has 4 places on the earth. The Garden of Eden, the Mount of the East, this mount, which is Mount Sinai, because that's where Masha received all this information from angels at Mount Sinai. Okay? The mount in which you are this day, Mount Sinai, and also Mount Sion. Mount Sion is supposedly above Jerusalem, which will be sanctified in the new creation for a sanctification of the earth. Through it will the earth be sanctified from all its guilt and its uncleanness throughout the generations of the world. Let me go back. For Yahuwah has 4 places on the earth, the Garden of Eden, and the Mount of the East, and this mount on which you are this day, Mount Sinai, and Mount Sion. So what is the Mount of the East? I do not know that. Ararat? Ararat? I wonder if it's Ararat. That's interesting. So it basically makes it basically ends up making kind of like a triangle, because one is above in the middle. Let me see. The Garden of Eden. So it tells us later on in this book that the Garden of Eden is in the land of Shem, which is the land promised, and which when Yahuwah came to Abraham, it was to restore to him the land of the promise. It wasn't to make a new promise, it was to restore a promise, because Canaan came and squatted in Shem's land. Okay? He saw it and wanted it for himself, and he came there. He was supposed to be in the south where it's hot. All right, let's see. So we have Eden, which could be like I'm just the mouth near the mouth of the Nile, the Mount of the East, Sinai, which is a little bit south. Maybe that's it. Anyways, that's very interesting stuff. A lot of people try to say that it's in America and this and that. I don't believe that. Okay, the caves at Qumran had the Qadash writings preserved there. The true priests of Yah were not in Jerusalem because Yochanan the Immerser was the high priest, and he was in the wilderness, and he was wearing skins from camels and eating locusts and honey. Many Latinos are my brothers from Sham. That's right. Not only, or you know what I mean? So there's some Irish, they're all different colors and scattered all over the world. That's the whole point. Everyone got scattered. If you want to know if somebody is of the Most High Yah, you need to say, do they love Yahusha and do they guard the commandments? Because not even being a brother is enough. Look at Cain and Abel, they're brothers. Look at Jacob and Esau, they're brothers. Same mom, same dad. Yes, some of them are from the 12 tribes of Yashar'Al. That's right. Anybody that you know, you invite them over here to fellowship with us and welcome yourself. Welcome. All right, Baruk Yahuah. I got brothers that are scattered all over, every nation, tribe, and tongue. Okay, and downtrodden and oppressed by this beast system. Okay, I'm gonna know who they are. You can kind of tell when you meet them. You know what I'm saying? Especially now in this late hour, we know. You know, because it's the same spirit. It's the same Ruach in here. Yeah? And when you hear the truth, you know it. Yahusha said, my sheep hear my voice. The way, the truth, and the life. Baruk Yahuah. Okay, let me see where I was. All right. In the 14th Jubilee, so now you almost got to get a calculator out. You need to do 14 times 13. Methuselah took unto himself a woman, Adnah, the daughter of Arizal, the daughter of his father's brother, in the 3rd week, which would be 21 more years you add to that. In the 1st year of the week, you don't even need to add. It's 1st year of the week. 1st year of the week, which is just means 1 extra year. So 21 plus 1 plus 13 times 50. That's what you got. That's how much math you got to do to find out where we are. But you'll know when we are. You'll know. Okay? And you're seeing the order that things happen. And you really get better understanding. We can do this. It's going to go up to the Tower of Babel and everything in this book. Baruk Yahuah. All right? He begat a son and called his name Lamach. Lamach. And in the 15th Jubilee, in the 3rd week, Lamach took to himself a woman, and her name was Batanas, the daughter of Baruk Atah, the daughter of his father's brother. And in this week she bore him a son, and called his name Noah. Noah. Saying, this one will comfort me for my trouble and on my work, and for the ground which Yahuwah has cursed. Just told us when Noah was born, right? In the 15th Jubilee, in the 3rd week, Lamech took to himself a woman, and her name was Bethanath, the daughter of Baruk Atah, the daughter of his father's brother. And in this week she bore him a son, and called his name Noah. This one will comfort. 15th Jubilee. So you got to do 14 times 50. I don't have a calculator because every phone is recording right now, but 14 times 50. In the 3rd week, so now you got to do 21 times 7 and add it to that, and you'll be in that. You'll be there. At the close of the 19th Jubilee, in the 7th week, in the 6th year thereof, Adam died. So you got 19 Jubilees plus 7 years plus 6 more years. That's when Adam died. And all his sons bury him in the land of his creation. And he was the first to be buried on the earth. And he lacked 70 years less than 1,000. For 1,000 years are as one day in the testimony of the heavens. And therefore was it written concerning the tree of knowledge, on the day that you eat thereof you shall die. So in other words, if he would have made it to be 1,000 years old, then it wouldn't have been on that day that he died. It would have made that prophecy false. I googled that Mount of the East. It says Mount Lunar, where the ark landed. See, some people, thank you, Diana. Some people say that it's on Ararat. We can't trust everything that Google says, but Baruk Yahuah for the confirmation, because I was thinking that would be where the ark came to rest too. If we could know for sure what mount it is. Mount Lubar. I want to look it up on a map. I wish I could kind of do that right now, but I don't have a laptop out. But you guys go look it up. And if you're watching the video, she found that the Mount of the East is Mount Lubar. Lubar. And she wrote Jubilees 426, which I'm going back. Oh, yes. And that's from, thank you for that. That's exactly where we read about that. That was awesome. Jubilees 426. Mount Lubar. So if that is the one that is to the east, then you would have the Garden of Eden go straight across to the west. Boom. Then you go up to Mount Sinai. Dang, I don't think it might be making I should do a video on this. That would be awesome. All right. Let me try to finish up. I'm just going to try to finish chapter 5, guys, okay? And he lacked 70 years from 1,000. For 1,000 years is the day of the testimony of the Shema, and therefore it is written, on the day that you eat thereof you shall expire. For this reason he did not complete the years of this day, for he expired during it. At the close of this jubilee, Cain was unalived after him in the same year. For his house fell upon him, and he expired in the midst of his house, and he was expired by its stones. For with a stone he had killed Chabal, and by a stone he was killed the righteous judgment. Okay, now let me explain this, because the first time I read this, I thought, oh, I can't read Jubilees anymore, because it broke something in the scripture. And I think it was Yashar'Al. In Yashar'Al it says how he was shot with an arrow. We have to understand something. The house is a family. Family made up of many stones. The stones are the members of the house. So when one of the stones of the house fell upon him, it means like he came upon him suddenly. He was attacked. Or he got shot by an arrow. It actually might have been, too, when it writes about the arrow, it explains that it was accidental, that he was trying to shoot something else or something like this. But so anyway, here's Cain receiving back his fruits from what he had sown. He slew his brother with a stone, and then he was slain by a stone of the house. So there you go. That's chapter 4 and verse 31. Okay? For this, anybody who's really into meat can leave in the comments where it talks about Cain in Yashar'Al. I could probably find it myself to do a Sefer search. Okay. For this reason, it was ordained on heavenly tablets with the instruments with which a person unalives their neighbor, with the same shall they be unalive. With the same manner that he wounded him, in like manner they shall deal with him. So if you guys remember, I was talking about this earlier, right? Reaping what you sow. Because of what he did, it's like live by the sword, die by the sword. And so there it is, right? It's telling you right here, like I've been saying, this stuff is written down on sapphire stones. Tablets. Heavenly tablets. They're not new commandments. Alright? And in the 25th Jubilee, Noah took to himself a woman, and her name was Amzara, the daughter of Ruach Ha'Qadash, the daughter of his father's brother. In the first year, in the 5th week, and in the 3rd year thereof, she bore him Sham. In the 5th year thereof, she bore him Cham. And in the 1st year, in the 6th week, she bore him Japheth. Okay? So we have Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The daughter, the 1st year of the 5th week. 5th week is 35 plus 3rd year thereof. I think I'd have to go back and see what Jubilee we were in. Okay. The 3rd year, Shem. The 5th year, so 2 years older than Ham, who is 1 year older than Japheth. So Shem was in the 3rd, Ham was in the 5th, and Japheth was in the 6th. Baruk Atah. I'm going to have one chapter left, chapter 5. Thank you for the follow. And it came to pass when the children of Adam began to multiply on the face of the earth, that daughters were born unto them, that the angels of Elohim saw them on a certain year of this Jubilee, and that they were beautiful to look upon, and they took themselves women of all whom they chose, and they bore unto them sons, and they were Naphalim. And iniquity increased on the earth, and all flesh corrupted its way, alike man and cattle and beasts and birds, and everything that walks on the earth of them corrupted their ways and their orders, and they began to devour each other. and iniquity increased on the earth, and every imagination of the thoughts of man was evil continually. And Elohim looked upon the earth, and behold, it was very corrupted. All flesh had become corrupted in its order, and all that were upon the earth had wrought all manner of evil before his eyes. And he said that he would destroy man and all flesh upon the face of the earth which he had created. But Noach found favor before the eyes of Yahuah. And against the angels whom he had sent upon the earth, he was exceeding wroth. He gave commandment to root them out of all their dominion, and he bade us to bind them in the depths of the earth, and behold, they are bound in the midst of them, and are kept separate. So the angels telling Masha, Yahuwah told us to go down there and bind those, and we did, and they're bound. See? Baruk Yahuah. And against their sons, which are the Nephilim, went forth a command from before his face, that they shall be smitten with the sword and be removed from under heaven. So why is it that they're to be removed with the sword? Because they brought bloodshed upon the face of the earth. They brought war. Right? Hey Shishi Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Okay, Diane, thank you. It appears Cain is mentioned in the first 2 chapters of Jasher. Can you please try to get a chapter and verse, and I will go there after I finish chapter 5. If you can find it, we'll try to go there, and we'll just try to look at that really quick. Because I do remember this several years ago, a stone of the house fell upon him. But in Jasher it explains how he was shot through with an arrow. Okay. And he said, my Ruach shall not always abide on man, for they also are flesh, and their days shall be 120 years. And he sent his sword into their midst, that each should slay his neighbor, and they began to slay each other, till they all fell by the sword and were destroyed from the earth. And their fathers were witnesses of their destruction. You guys know Clash of the Titans? The Titans are the Nephal. The fallen angels who are bound were forced to watch their children unalive each other. Yeah, it's a Sefer. Cepher. Cepher. I don't know if I'll be able to show you. And so that's 5 and 10. I don't know if it'll show up because it's gonna maybe see right there. And it has an Aleph Taub right here. Okay, but don't misunderstand me. This is not a perfect scripture. There's a lot of names that I have to change in here. I change them as I read because there's a lot of unclean names in here too. For example, they write Elohim. Well, it's an Aleph Lamed. It's not El. El is a Canaanite name for Baal. I believe that this one is probably the best. It's the best one for me to use because I have a lot of apocryphal books in here. And so I just clean up the words as I read them to you guys and to my family as best I can, as I'm always learning new things about the Abrith language. Okay? All right. So their fathers were witnessing their destruction, and after this they were bound in the depths of the earth forever, until the day of the great condemnation, when judgment is executed on all those who have corrupted their ways and their works before Yahuwah. And he destroyed all from their places, and there was not left one of them whom he judged not according to all their wickedness. And he made for all his works a new and righteous nature, so that they should not transgress in their whole nature forever, but should be all righteous, each in his own kind always. And the judgment of all is ordained and written on heavenly tablets in righteousness, even the judgment of all who depart from the path which is ordained for them to walk in, Torah, and if they walk not therein, judgment is written down for every creature and for every kind. And there is nothing in the heavens or on the earth, or in light or in darkness, or in Sheol, or in the depths, in the places of darkness, which is not judged. There is not anything that is not to be judged. Yes, it will say EL, so you just have to understand that that's actually Aleph Lamed AL. I wouldn't say it's better than the Ethiopian because the Ethiopian has so many books. I have a video on that on the YouTube channel as well. It's just I don't have a copy of that, so I haven't really been able to test it. Okay? And the interesting thing about that too, I don't know the name of the language, but all of the books are in that one tongue, which is pretty cool. Because I don't believe that Brit Hadashah is originally in Greek. I think that was a trick that the devil did, and also putting things in Latin and Greek and English and all that. Those are all unclean tongues. All right. So there isn't anything anywhere in all of creation that will not be judged. And all their judgments are ordained and written and engraved. In regard to all he will judge, the great according to their greatness and the small according to their smallness, each according to their ways. He is not one who will regard the person of any. So you know how it says he's not a respecter of persons? You're welcome, Larry. You're welcome, Shalom. You know the scripture says he's not a respecter of persons? This is saying the same thing in a little bit different way. It says, he is not one who will regard the person of any. So in other words, he doesn't treat anyone differently because of like who their daddy is or things like that. We're all held to the same objective standard of morality, which is the Torah, which is written on sapphire stones. Okay? According to Jasher chapter 2, Lamach killed Cain. Yeah, see, so you can see now that we could say Lamach is like one of the stones of the house of his fathers. That's how that kind of thing works. You might hear people even describe things that way sometimes, that it's the house of, oh my gosh, even the evil do this stuff, right? The house of the Rothschilds or something like that, right? So that is built up of many different stones, living stones. So that's interesting. So, okay, that's in chapter 2. We can go try to read chapter 2, but I just need to finish this first. Nor is he one who will receive gifts. In other words, you can't buy him off. You can't buy your way into righteousness. That's not how this works. Do you believe Yahusha is Yahuwah? Absolutely. Absolutely do. Yep, 1,000. If he says that he will execute judgment on each, if one gave everything that is on the earth, he will not regard the gifts of that person of any, nor accept anything at his hands, for he is a righteous judge. You can come up and ask questions, but not right now because I'm recording this on the YouTube channel. All right? Okay, this is verse 17. And of the children of Yashar'Al it has been written and ordained, if they turn to him in righteousness, he will forgive all their transgression and pardon all their chata. It is written and ordained that he will show mercy to all who turn from all their guilt once each year. Once each year, like Shabuot. Okay? This is a annual renewing of the agreement that he will be our husband and we are like his bride. Okay? Submit to Yahuwah. And as for all those who corrupt their ways and their thoughts before the flood, no man's person was accepted save Noach alone. For his person was accepted on behalf of his sons, whom Elohim saved from the waters of the flood on his account. For his heart was righteous in all his ways, according as it was commanded regarding him, and he had not departed from aught that was ordained for him. And Yahuwah said that he would destroy everything which was upon the earth, both man and cattle and beast and fowls of the air, and that which moves on the earth. And he commanded Noach to make him an ark, that he might save himself from the waters of the flood. And Noach made the ark in all the respects that he was commanded. In the 27th Jubilee of years. So you got to do, you're doing 26 times 50, plus the 5th week, which is 5 times 7. In the 5th year of the new moon of the first month. The new moon of the first month tells us the beginning of spring. Okay. Thank you, Diane. Keep that if I need to ask for it again. Depends on if it gets scrolled away, but I'm going to go there after this. Okay. So the new moon of the first month. There are 4 new moons a year, 1, 4, 7, 10, that are to be esteemed as high Shabbat days, along with all the 7th days and along with the fixed feast days. Okay, Baruk Yahuah. And he entered into the 6th year thereof in the 2nd month, and on the new moon of the 2nd month till the 16th, and he entered, and all that were brought to him into the ark, and Yahuah closed it from without on the 17th evening. Yahuah opened 7 floodgates of the Shemayim, and the mouths of the fountains of the great deep, 7 mouths in number. And the floodgates began to pour down water from the Shemayim 40 days and 40 nights, and the fountains of the deep also sent up waters until the whole world was full of water. And the waters increased upon the earth. 15 cubits did the waters rise above all the heights of the mountains. 15 cubits of water above the tallest mountains. And the ark was lifted up above the earth, and it moved upon the face of the waters, and the water prevailed on the face of the earth 5 months, 150 days. And the ark went and rested on the top of Lubar. Oh my gosh, look at that. There it is, Lubar, like you just were saying. Baruk Yahuah. That's so awesome. And the ark went and rested on the top of Lubar, on one of the mountains of Ararat. Remember I said I thought it was Mount Ararat? Crazy stuff, you guys. And on the new moon in the 4th month, which would be the beginning of summer, the fountains of the great deep were closed, and the floodgates of the heavens were restrained. And on the new moon of the 7th month, all the mouths of the abyss of the earth were opened, and the water began to descend into the depths below. And on the new moon of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were seen. So the 1, 4, 7, 10, these are all Moedims of seasons. These things happen. Look, the Father does mighty things on his Moedim. I want to know what his Moedim is so that I can keep an eye out for what he's about to do next. To be ready, to warn others, right? Baruk Yahuah. And the waters disappeared from above the earth in the 5th week of the 7th year thereof, and on the 17th day in the 2nd month the earth was dry. And on the 27th thereof he opened the ark, and sent forth from it beasts and cattle and birds and everything moving. All right, that's where I'm going to stop with Jubilees. I love chapter 6. I love chapter 8. I love so much of this book. I'm going to go into more of it, Abba willing, in the future. But that's it for right now. And I know that I answered your question about whether or not Hashatan is the father of Cain and Adam is the father of Abel and all that. No. In fact, they're not even the type of twins that come from the same egg, because they're born many years apart. Or I shouldn't say many, I should say multiple years apart. In fact, I think it might have even said it was 7. But you just watched the video, so I don't want to get stuck on that right now because I want to go check this out. Actually, the moon has its own light, but she gets her light from the sun, Marcus. Okay? And I don't mean in the way that they teach that the light's reflecting off. I'm saying that the sun fills the moon up with light, and she gives it out in her courses over all creation until she's empty. Then she gets refilled. That's how that works. That's the book of Enoch. Yep, and it's also in Jubilees in different places. So let's see. We were going to go to Jasher chapter 2. Do you know where? 26 through 29. Thank you. You're so on top of that. I appreciate it. Okay. So Lamech was old advanced in years. His eyes were dim that he could not see well. And Tubal-Cain, his son, was leading him. And it was one day that Lamech went into the field, and Tubal-Cain, his son, was with him. And while they were walking in the field, Cain, the son of Adam, advanced towards them. For Lamech was very old and could not see much. And Tubal-Cain, his son, was very young. And Tubal-Cain told his father to draw his bow, and with the arrow he smote Cain, who was yet afar off, and he slew him. For he appeared to them to be an animal. And the arrow entered Cain's body, although he was distant from them, and he fell to the ground and expired. So do you see that? It's like literally your own... He murdered his own family member, then one of his own family members murdered him, right? Who is Lamech again? I'm actually not the greatest with the genealogies. And it just told us, anyways, when we were in Jubilees, about Lamech and who Lamech is. Lamech is like a son of a Jared, I think. But anyway, you get the idea. You get the idea. So when I first was reading Yashar'Al, I was like, oh wait, that goes against what Jubilee says. I can't believe it anymore. But it doesn't really go against it. It's just that we don't have an Abrith understanding. I'm thinking, oh, he's inside this building and one of the rocks fell down on top of him. No, that's not what it's talking about at all, right? It's talking about one of the stones of the house, one of the sons of the family tree, of the lineage, of the heritage. Methuselah's son. Thank you, Shishi. No. The moon not right with days. It changes not like the sun. Is the real on time every year, every what? The law of the luminaries and the law of the sun is explained to us in Scripture already. Okay? So whatever it is you're trying to explain, I don't fully understand, but it doesn't seem to match what the Scripture says, just so you know. Okay? She's exactly the same size as the sun. They're both created on the fourth day. She gets all of her light from him. Okay? This is much how a husband pours the truth of the Scriptures into his own wife. He washes her in the water of the Word. Okay? Then she distributes that out to the children, to the creation, right? This is very much a symbol of how marriage works. Okay? They go on through the same gates. They go on the same circuits. However, he's more stable in all of his ways. He runs his course, and it's exactly. She moves around a little bit. She's varied in it. Oh, that's okay. Baruk Yahuah. Shabbat Shalom. Shalom Shalom. All right, Diane, thank you for coming in. All right, so I don't think I was going to cover anything else. In fact, I don't wonder how long I've even been on here. I think 2 hours. I think I've been on here 2 hours. Does this thing tell you how long you're alive somewhere? Shalom. Shalom. If you guys don't have a copy of the calendar, you can please email me and I'll send you a free copy. Okay? If you want to know more about the calendar, you can also go to the playlist calendar on the YouTube channel Qadashayam of Yasharal. If you're new here, welcome. Please subscribe. I try to do this stuff on TikTok, but it's everything ultimately gets uploaded to the YouTube channel that I can. So anyone who's teaching that Eve slept with the dragon, I think has a false understanding or a Gnostic understanding, and I would be very cautious and stay away from that. Adam is the father. Adam is the father, right? Of Cain and Abel. And they're born at different times, at least 7 years apart, I think it said. And even the angels sleeping with man, it explained to us that it began to happen at the time of Jared. It was already in like the 400th year. All right. It's been about 2.5 hours. Oh, wow. Was the connection great the whole time? This time? Because remember before how it kept cutting out so much? Thank you, Damon. Well, Baruk Yahuah, I don't know. Maybe I will just stick with this version then. If the video comes out okay, I won't even bother with that other one. Okay, did anybody have any questions before I get off? Thank you, brother. Thank you. Like I said, as always, if you have prayer requests, praise reports, questions, you can email me. The email's in the description of all YouTube videos. It's also, if you just go to my profile, you see my linked tree or link tree, whatever you call that thing. It has the email there too. Okay. You said something about people changing scripture before. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, bro. So Lord is the name for Baal. They put that in your scriptures. They took out the name of the Most High, Yad-He-Uah-He, Yahuwah. They took it out, right? That's a great example. The letter J is like 500 years old. That's not the name of the Messiah who came in the name of the Father. His name is in the name of the Father, Yahuwah, Yahusha. So for that one, Larry, I would do ALAHYM. Go to my YouTube channel and look for the 2-part series called Clean Lips. Those are examples that I've put in there because I look at the original letters, right? Aleph, Lamed, Yod, Hey, Mem, Alahim. Alahim. I thought that you came on later on. I don't know. I usually do, sis. I'm so sorry. I usually do. It's been kind of crazy for us too. Tired, hectic. We had the bomb cyclone that came through here. We lost power. We got our shed out here got destroyed. Had to get a new freezer. And I started a little early. So please forgive me. But if you want to go back and watch the whole video, I'm going to put it on the YouTube channel, okay? Hey, Tina Yahu, praise Yahuwah, Baruk Yahuah, hallelujah, aman, aman. There is no E in, that's correct, Rob. There is no E at all in Abrith, at all. They created these things with vowel points. Look it up. Yahuwah never gave us vowel points. There is no such thing as vowel points. It's a deception. It's to make you pronounce things differently because there's power in your tongue. You're commanded in Exodus 23:13 to not speak the names of foreign mighty ones, to not even have their names upon your lips. But by changing things like that subtly, they take his name, Yahuwah, out, and they put in names of devils. God is the Babylonian deity of fortune. And they try to tell you, oh, it's just a title. It's not. It's the name of a demon. Telling you facts. You can go check out those 2 videos, Clean Lips, man. You're going to see a lot of stuff in there. Yeah, everything is okay, thank you. And also, Palal, that the Father Baruk you. So the way that you say that is Elohim. That's what Elohim is. Behold, Yashar'Al. Yahuwah, our Elohim, is Achad. Not that. That's literally the name of a devil. You're welcome, Damon. It's my honor. Go to the YouTube channel and you'll see a video there called In God We Trust. And I break the whole thing down. Isaiah 65:11 with the concordance. Look in the Abrith words that they call Hebrew. The name Hebrew is a Latin name that's only like 12th century. All right? It's Abrith. We are Abrim. like Abraham, which means a crossed over people. Zephaniah 3:9 says, I will restore unto my people a pure language. That's the language that's written on these sapphire stones that we've been reading about. That's the original 22 letters that the Most High Yah wrote with his own finger. That name Jesus means hail Zeus. Zeus is another name for Hashatan. Just giving you the facts. So it would be more like with a Y because there's no I. That's the thing. There's no I either. But there is a Y, right? So it would be like Aleph, Bat, Rush, Yod. Right? Taub, Abrith, Abrim. That's what it is. Well, yeah, we all have a lot to learn if we've been learning from these deceivers and these churches. In fact, you might even want to change your name. Just so you know, SAINT used to be what I called my YouTube channel before I knew it. Used to actually be called, I'll tell you guys, both you guys, these things. Because I made a video saying I had to repent. Because I used to teach in these false names because I didn't know no better myself until the Father taught me. And my channel was called Saints of God. Well, saints is worshiping dead people. That's what saints is. We ain't supposed to be worshiping anything but Yahuwah alone. That's why you know Yahusha is Yahuwah, because he received worship. That's not the only reason why, but it's a powerful one. I worship him because he is a fulfillment of the promise that Yahuwah made that he would deliver his people. Yep. So that's what Qadash, this word right here, Qadashayam, means my righteous peoples. They claim that SAINT, that's what that means. They claim that's what that means. I'll go by what the book says. I don't trust the papacy no more. Not at all. Not even a little bit, bro. They tell you to eat things that aren't clean. They changed the seventh day. They're in lawless rebellion and idolatry. Hardcore idolatry. And most of the stuff is rooted back to ancient Babylon worship. Priests of Baal. They have the star of Molech. Oh, can you talk about? I don't even know what to say. I might say the wrong word. What Bible shit? Well, you know what? The Father brought you here for a reason, man. So go subscribe to the YouTube channel and start watching videos. Email me any questions. I'll do whatever I can to answer anybody's questions, okay? Don't be concerned that it's a lot to learn. Be thankful that he brought you to the light so that you could learn, right? That's the main thing. We all got a lot to learn. How long did Yashar'Al have to wander around in the wilderness before they could actually worship him in Ruach and truth? 40 years. They couldn't enter into the land of the promise until they, right? We got a lot of things to unlearn. But, wouldn't you rather know now than not have known at all? Oh, yeah, clean eating. Well, ask the Father to help you. It's very important, my friend. Very important. And right now in this day and age, we all have a hard time with it because they put unclean things in food and don't even tell us that it's in there. Right? So it's tough. But it is critical importance. If you do any research into wicked spirits and parasites and what goes on with unclean meats and stuff like that, that might help you too. Get rid of it, brother. Don't give it away. Don't sell it. Throw it out. And may Yahuwah Baruk you for doing it. Because that stuff is like poison. For real. Same with a lot of the chemicals. Like Shishi's right in Red D40. A lot of things with the heavy sugars. Thanks, bro. I'll follow YouTube. All praises. Baruk Yahuah. Yeah, I switched to a carnivore diet in November. And I've already lost over 60 pounds. Just by that. It's not like I'm, other than my regular work that I do and delivering food, I'm not lifting weights. I'm not going on treadmills or exercise bikes or anything like that. And I feel great, you guys. Like, I lost a lot of weight. And I even feel like muscle coming back into my body. Because I'm feeding... I'm putting righteousness into the temple. The papacy's scary. Like, about fallen angels, absolutely. Are you talking? So I personally do not eat fruits and vegetables. I'm not standing in judgment of anyone who does. I'm eating a carnivore diet. So I eat chicken with the skin that's cage free and antibiotic free and all that, free range. And I eat local beef, steaks and ground beef, and also eggs. We get local eggs, farm raised, and plus butter. Like, we try to get really high quality salts. My Shah will tell you what brand it all is. I think it's called Baja Gold, the salt. And then we get some butter that comes in a green pack at Costco. I don't remember what it's called. But not just the cheapest butter. We get a little bit better quality butter. It's important. You got to have the fats. Animal fat is really, really well for us. Tons of energy in animal fats, and for your brain. Like, it's crazy. They're trying to get people to eat things. They try to get people not to eat the things that are well for them and get them to eat the things that are unwell for them, so they could flip it, you know? Are you asking about the Apocrypha? Apocrypha, like Enoch and Jubilees? We were just reading Jubilees. Baruk, Ezra, yeah, a lot of it is Qadash. A lot of it, not all of it. More of that discernment has to be used. But I believe the book of Chanukh is Torah. It is Torah. You notice how I keep saying Torah and not Torah? Because look at what the letters are. Look at what the letters are. Why are we... I don't know why we're saying things... Where are they even getting an O from? Where's that coming from? Can you see it? I can't see it. It says not to eat the fat that surrounds the organs. So when they would sacrifice the animal, they remove the organs because there's the blood in there. So you got to understand, when they slaughter an animal, they empty the blood out. Kind of like if I took this can and I just tipped it over, I poured out all that was in there. Okay? When it goes through the whole process, hanging the meat and all that stuff, it drains all out. Okay? So you'll see red in the meat. That's not blood. That's not hemoglobin. That's myoglobin, which is protein. So there's a difference. Now the fat that's marbled into the muscle, you eat that. The priests eat that. That's not the problem. They're talking about the fat that surrounds the organs when they take it out. I think someone just wrote visceral fat. I think that's probably a great way of saying that. Thank you, T. Lee. Baruk Yahuah. So we don't eat that, right? But like chicken skin has some fat in it. It has a lot of flavor, and it has a lot of like, it's tender, like the dark meat. This stuff is okay. The fat that was around the organs was given to Yahuwah. That's right. Baruk Yahuah. Baruk Yahuah. Trying to think where we are in the calendar. I wasn't going to talk about that, so I'm not really prepared to. I'm not sure exactly. Winter comes up. Winter's coming up on the first full moon of the 10th month. And I'd have to double check where we are in the calendar because I'm not positive. I think we're like in the middle of the 9th month, so we have a few weeks. But that's a high Shabbat, so it's no servile work, Qadash assembly, an offering made by fire. Baruk Yahuah. These are some crazy times that we're in, you guys. I heard about the real calendar. Per SE is a GOOD example. The turtle shell. So I've heard about that too, but you need to understand that it's teaching people that there's 13 months in a year. In the book of Chanukh, it's clear that there are 12. The first month is 30 days, the second month is 30 days, and the third month is 31 days. And that just repeats 4 times. 30, 30, 31, 30, 30, 31, 30, 30, 31, and that makes a year. 52 weeks, 52 Shabbats a year, perfectly. How similar is the Sefer to the 1775 Bible? I'm not sure about the 1775 Bible, what that is. Is that a King James? It probably has the Masoretic, so it's probably a lot of similarities, but they're a restored name. This is a restored name, Yahuah, Yahusha. Those probably don't have that. Now I'm confused. Leviticus 7 says not to eat animal fat. Really? That's what you're saying? I'll go check it out. Where? Can you tell me the chapter and verse? Because I'm thinking that you probably have a contextual issue here. Because the thing is, we're supposed to remove the fat that surrounds the organs, but not the fat that's... The fat that's marbled into the muscle is never really described in there as fat, but it'll tell you about eating the shoulders and different parts. So, Leviticus 7. Likewise, this is the Torah, the trespass offering, is most Qadash, in the place where they slaughter the ascending smoke offering, shall they slaughter the trespass offering, and the blood thereof shall be sprinkled round about the altar, and he shall offer it with all the fat thereof. So you got to go back and look at all how they talk about this. The fat is the fat that's all surrounding the organs. You take that part out. You're not roasting that as part of the offering. It's a separate offering that's made to Yahuwah. Yep, visceral fat is the fat around the organs. The Shabbat never changes. You said next year the Shabbat is on Sunday. No, it's not. The only time it's going to change is if the pagans change their calendar again. Right now, my understanding, the current Shabbat day is on the pagan day Wednesday, which is right in the middle of their week. Right in the middle. Okay? But the seventh day doesn't move. Yahuwah's calendar never changes. The pagans change their calendar dozens of times. I do discuss politics and end times often, yeah. I wasn't going to do it today, but if you have the question, I guess I could answer it, you know. But I mean, bro, like, seriously, if you go... Sorry, I don't mean to say bro. I don't know if you're a cis. It's just like a way I talk sometimes. But if you go to this channel and look at the videos, you'll see a lot of commentary about politics, about war, famine, disease, pestilence, all these things. About Elon. I got videos about Elon. I got videos about Trump. I also have another channel called Qadashayam of Yasharal 2, which is a backup. Have stuff on there. I have a playlist about Trump on the YouTube channel. Space is fake, bro. You can't put a convertible in space. It's just insane. And there's nothing righteous about cutting open a person's skull to put any microchips in there or do anything like that. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's constantly stuff. But you know, this is like powers and signs in the heaven to give power to the beast. Yeah, I believe that he is. He is their golden dawn, and he is a high priest of Baal in the order of the golden dawn, actually. You're welcome. Thank you for your question. I appreciate it. Yeah, trust me, I got my eyes on those guys hardcore. You know, he had that child that he gave that strange name to, and that's all symbolic. It's all fallen angel worship. Just like doing the X symbolism and naming the social media thing X, and these people think they got their free speech back. They didn't recover my account. I'm not allowed to go on there. I'm not allowed to talk on there. What's up with that? So the ones who do, I'm like, what, you know. I'm very cautious about accounts that have large followings and stuff like that. I don't trust them. I think there's a lot of false light out here. There's a lot of deceivers out here, and this kind of stuff is promised to us. You know what I mean? Definitely. All right, guys. I am gonna get off of here, but you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna read the Abinus Palal to you in the Abrith tongue. Okay. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. These are the original 22 letters in Abrith. Okay, the pictographs. Aleph, Bat, Gam, Dal, Ha, Ua, Zan, Chat. But so anyway, this is going to be Abinus Palal, which is like saying Our Father's Prayer. Abinu Bashamayam Kadash Ki Shamka. Malak Utka Bua Ya Rauka Asha. All Aratz Khan. Bashamayam Natan Lanu Hayum At. Lacham Bahat Sarak. Usalach lanu lachatainu, ki lanu salachutam, lachataim kum kara lanu, uparat lanu lata'ah. Uyashala Numa Russia. La Malakutka Shulat. Hakach Uha Kabad. Bahasham Okal Shamut. Yahuah is Yahusha. Our Father in heaven, separated is your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth so it is in heaven. Give us a day agreement, bread in the need, and forgive us for our crimes as we forgive them for their crimes against us. Lead us not astray and rescue us from evil doing, for your kingdom reigns, the power and the esteem, in the name above all names. Yahuwah is Yahusha. Aman. Baruk Yahuah. Don't worry, it came back on. It's not frozen anymore. That's better. What? Did the thing freeze? I didn't even know. I'm sorry, guys. Let it be so. Hallelujah. Baruk Yahuah. All right, Shabbat Shalom, family. Okay, golden dreams. Until next time, I'm out. All right? Shalom. Shalom, sis. I will tell my Asha that you said hello. By the power and will of Yahweh, Yahusha, the Messiah, the one who we love him because he first loved us, right? Because while we were yet enemies at enmity with the Most High, he humbled himself, he took on flesh, he took on the role of a servant, he lived a perfect, righteous, or Qadash life. He willingly laid his life down, no one took it from him. He bore our iniquities on his body. He was impaled on a tree. He was in the tomb 3 days, and he rose again in power, in sovereignty, in majesty, in all esteem. All esteem, Yahusha. Yahusha comes in the name of the Father, Yahuwah. Baruk is he who comes in the name of the Most High. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. You'll also find the email in the description of all YouTube videos. So send us a message, a praise report, a prayer request. Much love. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. You'll also find the email in the description of all YouTube videos. So send us a message, a praise report, a prayer request. Much love. Shalom.